Is it fair to bring up this defamation aspect? Is it fair to bring this up and say it's unbecoming of the Prime Minister to make a comment like this at this juncture? Sanjay Jha.
Well, I can tell you that a press conference being done by the Prime Minister of India, I would have been surprised if the media did not ask him a question which was political. I mean, even asking him, the Prime Minister himself said that I'm not in the running for 2014 if UPA 3 is back in power. That is also a political statement. I think, Mr. Vyas needs to understand that if you looked at the array of 5 spokespeople from the Bharatiya Janata Party led by Mr. Arun Jaitley, the way they started holding a press conference within hours of the Prime Minister's meeting, I have been reading reports that the Bharatiya Janata Party actually felt very proud that Mr. Modi was mentioned in the Prime Minister's conference, even though he was rubbished and made to look like, somebody who was terribly unfit to be Prime Minister. And I think a lot of people in India, I think, will agree with that view of the Prime Minister. But the BJP almost was happy to see because, they are so media obsessed. They have been very disturbed that Mr. Modi has not been featuring in the usual front page grabbing nonsensical headlines that he's made it some way his tradition. So I think somewhere down the line, there is no denying that the Prime Minister throughout, if you look at all the 43 questions that he answered and his opening statement, he was focusing on the economic factors. Here is a Prime Minister who bit the bullet and said we have challenges on inflation. He agreed that we could have done much better on unemployment. The manufacturing sector, has to be given a bigger boost. He also mentioned the fact that there were some humongous achievements done by the UPA. Now, there can always be a debate about whether we could have done differently or better, etc., etc. But that's an economic argument. But there is the politics of it. I thought the BJP, Sanjana, the way they have gone about town, sounding extremely perturbed about the Prime Minister's statement. I want to mention 2 facts here. They are pretending. Mr. Jaitley said that he's been acquitted by the magistrate court. Well, the SIT report has been accepted. Doesn't mean that the Zakia Jafri protest petition is not going to go through the legal process. Number 2, the Snoop Gate, for example, which is a stalking case, violation of Supreme Court guidelines. We are fully aware that the government is appointing a judicial commission on it. So the Prime Minister and everyone has a right to question the credentials of someone who's aspiring for the highest office in the land. We are not talking about an ordinary individual and an ordinary position. These are matters of public debate and public scrutiny. It's time the BJP woke up to the reality. We are in an election year. This is not rhetoric. We're arguing on facts.
Right.
And this debate will continue. And I think, they actually tried, in my opinion, to make political capital out of it, which has boomeranged on them.